current estimates hold, the population will reach 9 billion by 2038. One of the major problems we face is feeding everyone. Diseases are at an all-time high. The current model for food production is unhealthy and unsustainable. There's got to be a better way.
Scientists say that if 14% of the world planted a permaculture garden or some type of garden just in their backyard, we can replenish the entire earth.
So we're setting out to find people who are doing things differently. We'll be looking into alternatives to current food practices that are damaging our health and environment. We'll be meeting the chefs, farmers, restaurateurs, and entrepreneurs who are making a difference. And you'll find out just how easy it is for you to become a part of the solution. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Hit that like button, subscribe, tell all your friends. We'll be eating the freshest food, meeting amazing people, and seeing what we can do to become a healthier, more environmentally friendly world right here on The Fork and Truth. Let's face it, eating a fresh, locally sourced organic diet is nearly impossible for anyone on a budget. It's true that as more and more people become aware of the industrial farming practices and their damage to our health and environment, they'll probably switch over to an organic or more healthier lifestyle, thus decreasing the cost of organic food. But this isn't going to happen overnight, and in the meantime, families with lower socioeconomic statuses may not even have these options available to them, let alone be able to afford them. So how can we decrease the cost of organic goods? Well, stick around, because on this episode, we're visiting a place that's doing just that. I am in beautiful Florida. I will be spending some time here because there's so many farms, so many restaurants to see, and amazing people. I am on my way to Sweetwater Organics, where they are doing some amazing things with CSAs, educating children. There's a house where people can come and stay and do a semester here. It's a 5-bedroom house. We've got chickens, we have hogs on the farm. They have a farmer's market. There's so much to see here, so much to do. There's growing beds there. There's a greenhouse right behind me over here. Let's do it. So what is Sweetwater all about?
It's about food accessibility and education. It's about bringing folks here to the farm and teaching them where their food comes from, and just teaching them a little bit about farming so that they can do it in a manner that's helpful and healthful for themselves as well as for the environment. We actually run with a staff of about 5 core people throughout the year, and I kind of do a little bit of everything from strategic planning to CSA membership to just about any logistics that's needed. The basis for the remainder of our staff is apprentices, interns, and volunteers. So our apprentices actually live on site and they stay with us through the season, so they get a very hands-on approach to organic farming. These are folks who usually want to go on to become farmers, or somewhere in that sort of field they want to, just continue their education. They stay here, they get paid a stipend, and they get, all the veggies they can eat from the field, that kind of stuff. So it's a very intensive training program. The interns are made up of either college students or just, volunteers in the community who want to get some exposure to organic farming or want to get out in the sun and understand what farming is about. From the college standpoint, it's usually folks in the environmental sciences program. We also have interns coming in on our education side, and those are, of course, education majors. And volunteers, we just have a slew of volunteers from colleges, from, just the community, some of our members as well.
And is that all year long?
The apprentices are seasonal.
Okay.
The interns on the education side are all year long, and the volunteers are all year long as well.
I read an article about the restaurants in Florida. There was a journalist who was finding out that some of the restaurants weren't all farm to table, and they were touting they were completely farm to table.
Oh yeah, I
and
remember
only
that article.
250 miles,
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's about that. I think it's just about taking the small steps and whether it's just a salad that they source locally or something like that, and just kind of go from there, and not being perfect all in one day.
Yeah,
but
because to be honest, no state has year-round growing.
No.
Our growing season is opposite the north. So there's a period of time when a restaurant here is not going to be able to source locally. They're going to have to go get something from California. So it really is, if you're going for fresh veggies, it's what's available.
Yeah.
Imagine during our summers how hot it is here.
Oh.
What we do here during the summers, we're growing soil, not veggies. So we're doing cover cropping to replenish the nitrogen and the different elements in the soil. And then we're, turning that over and just building soil. And because we're a certified organic farm, there are certain regulations, obviously, that we have to follow. So when we're building soils, we have a compost operation that we're adding the compost that's also got wood chips in it. So what it does is it builds air pockets when you're tilling it into the soil. So it's not compact soil.
Right.
It needs good drainage and all that good stuff. Other than that, we may do a slow release type fertilizer, but again, it's all OMRI approved type stuff. So, we're not doing
Right.
any synthetic chemicals.
Right.
So we'll do fish emulsion and seaweed, for instance, in the greenhouse to give the babies a little boost.
Cool. So completely opposite than a factory farm, I guess you can say. It's...
Yeah, absolutely. We'll rotate crops, like one family of crops like a brassica, and we won't put them in the same area because we actually have 3 distinct growing seasons down here during our harvesting season, and we'll move things around within the fields. Specifically, we'll move a light feeder to where a heavy feeder was.
Okay.
So we'll do that not only for the soil health, but we'll also do it because if you keep putting like the same thing over and over into the same soil, then you run the risk of whatever diseases are most prevalent with that sort of crop, that you're really giving it a medium and a great environment to grow, and you don't want to do that. You want to move things around.
Right.
So we'll do that, and we do things like companion planting, where we may plant flowers between crops to discourage nematodes. Okay, it's just different things that'll get into your root crops.
Right. So a lot of the bigger farmers could definitely take a lesson from you, I think.
Yeah, don't spray that chemical. If you have an infestation and you need to get rid of it, you need to use something that is not going to damage your soil, not going to damage your plant, not going to cause health problems to the people that are eating your crops.
Right.
In a last case scenario, if the infestation gets real bad, we'll use something called pyganic. Again, it's a non-synthetic, and it's made from chrysanthemums.
And that does the job.
That does the job.
I've been here all morning, and I'm getting ready to head over to the other section, the other farm that they have. About 4 miles away, maybe a little less than 4 miles. And there's a lot to see here.
Hello, my name is Jenise Carr. I am the farm manager at Sweetwater Organic Community Farm. And what else should I say? I'm sorry. I'm glad you can cut this. I have been at Sweetwater for 4 seasons. This is my 4th season. I started here as a volunteer and just fell crazy in love with being outside. Especially in the big field, man, it was just so beautiful. It just changed my life. And that seed that was probably planted in my heart way before I got here began to sprout and bloom, and now here I am managing the farm.
So what are your day-to-day chores?
Planting, seeding, weeding, feeding, treating, harvesting. Boom, 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 boom. The E's. Planting, treating, seeding, eating, the E's. I'm in charge of anything from, for the farm side, from seed to table. Got sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I got sick and tired of seeing people sick and tired and dying. It was around about the time that I had my firstborn son. I was nursing him, and he was growing, and at the same time I had gone to see my grandmother who was dying of cancer. So she was at the last leg of her life, and he was at the beginning of his life. And the contrast of that changed how I saw things, and I really just started to look into disease, like, why are people getting cancer? Why does it seem like it's a cold and it's not? Like, how did she get cancer, such a simple woman? And all of the things started pointing a lot to food. I had allergies, my son had allergies, and one of the reasons why I breastfed is because I didn't want my son to have the same allergies and asthma, and I was trying to protect him against that, but he still needed more. So that led to me looking for the place that I could get the freshest food, and I found Sweetwater.
I saw kids here earlier today.
Yeah, the kids that were here are actually from a school right over here around the corner. Okay. We do field trips that we subsidize the field trips, but this school is a kind of a special needs school, so we just come on in because,
right.
Getting that exposure and getting them to touch things here is really important to them. So it's like, yeah, just come in when you're here.
Yes.
Right here where we're sitting is actually where we do the majority of our seeding. You can see our seeding trays and stuff right over here. And then it goes into the greenhouse over there where we baby it. The pollination station is for our field trip. So it's education for the kids when they're coming through, they get to understand.
And then from the greenhouse, you'll take some of that out to the field.
Yeah, it goes from the greenhouse. Right next to it is the transition table and the hardening shed. So things in the greenhouse, we really monitor their environment. They're watering, what they're fed. It's like a fish and seaweed emulsion. You know, the temperatures, everything in there. And then because they can't go straight from there to the field because it's too much of a shock, they go from there to the hardening shed where it gets them a little bit more acclimated to the environment. Okay. So we still monitor their feed and treat, but they're getting a little bit more used to.
They toughen up a
little.
little.
It's kind of like that 13-year-old.
Right.
If you were to come on a Sunday market, what we'll have is we'll have vendors all the way out here, and we'll have our market stand out here, and then we'll have our CSA. So I'd like to see a lot more local farmers participate out here. Okay. We do workshops every week on Sundays. I'd like to see more workshops that are geared towards the kids. So something kind of dual at the same time. We've got something for the adults going on, we've got something for the kids going on. And it is more community-based. I'd like to see more of our neighbors right around us coming in. Not just the folks who think it's kind of cool and trendy to be organic, but the ones who are living with it every day.
I do like to be right in the middle of the city. In an urban neighborhood, the neighborhoods with the most socioeconomic disparity, there's also a shortage of food that's nutritious. People really don't want to be told that you're not eating healthy and that you need to eat organic, and they don't understand some of those terminologies. But if you just welcome them to the table and say, would you like a bite to eat? I have some fresh, some fresh salad that we have here. Would you like to harvest some collards with me? I made a batch over here. You want to taste it? There's some music playing. They can sit and watch music. They can bring their children, then it becomes a whole different experience. It just becomes the way people used to do it before, just where there's a community coming together to do things.
When we do our farmers market here, in addition to our CSA and just our market, we have a program that we partner with the Florida Organic Growers. It's called Fresh Access Box. And what it does is it allows people with their SNAP card, the food assistance card, to come into the market, and they can utilize it one of two ways. They can just purchase organic produce, but if they purchase Florida-grown produce, they get half off up to $40, meaning if they purchase $40 worth of food, it's only $20 on their SNAP card. They can also do the CSA, and it's half off as well.
So what most people think with those cards is that they'll go into the grocery store because it's cheaper.
Because it's cheaper and they spread it. And it's like, come here and spread your dollars here.
Have you changed since you started doing this?
Oh my gosh. My first time volunteering, there was an intern and we were out on this big field and we were weeding, and she had this little method where she would scratch the soil and then she would pull out the big weeds and then she scratched the soil so it would uproot all the smaller ones. And so I was like, oh, okay. So I paid attention carefully. Okay, I see what you're doing. And I thought, so do you have some gloves for your hands or something like that? Like, how do you do that? And she said, you pick your hand up, you put it in the soil, and then you wash it off when you get back. I thought, oh, okay, why don't I do that? So this is where I started, and I say that to give hope to all of you, to where I'm at now, where I run 5 tractors, that I am tilling and I am managing 6 acres of property. My friends are like, are you really a farmer? And I'm like, yeah. So I've changed tremendously. Never get tired of seeing the sun. Never get tired of seeing that open field and that trellis of trees, and I never get tired of that wind on my face. A farmer has been birthed at Sweetwater.
What are you growing on Sweetwater?
So right now, we've got, it is primarily vegetables. So we've got a mix of kales and collards and mustards and chard. Those are things that kind of go throughout the entire season. And then we do seasonal crops too, like your fruiting veggies, like your eggplants and your peppers and stuff. We have some of those in the greenhouse right now. They're not ready to be out in the field. We just had a frost, so they don't go out until springtime. We have kohlrabi, we have cabbages, we have carrots, we have turnips, radishes, lots of different herbs. And we do multiple varieties. Right now, cauliflower and broccoli are the big things that are really pretty. We do a graffiti cauliflower, which is purple, Really
all
pretty,
right. Yeah, I love those.
And we try to add varieties in every year too and kind of get people exposed to just, some new things. We give them recipe cards and stuff. We do cooking demos just to try to, try to encourage that.
So you pretty much do everything here then?
We do a lot of stuff here, yes.
That's impressive.
I mean, we've been given a very huge charge that no other creation has on the earth. And so it's very important that we take care of it and then understand that it's created for us and our good, and eat from it and eat abundantly from it and enjoy its benefit. It has given you life.
So where do you see Sweetwater Organics in the future?
I'd like to really focus on the education for kids of all ages. In the back, beyond the education garden where that swing set is, we're going to turn that into an extended learning garden. Ideally, what I'd like it to be is both self-exploration, when they can go out there and do the raised beds themselves and plant and harvest themselves. We obviously will go through and train them, but the idea is for them to go out there and, do the touch and the
Do it on
taste
their
and
own,
stuff,
right, get their hands dirty.
kind of get involved with it.
Sweetwater Organics, Tampa Bay, Florida. You gotta get out here. It's a fantastic place to visit. Bring the kids out. You'll learn a lot. You'll learn some new recipes. You'll be able to pick some food, learn how to grow your own food, and put your fingers and your feet in the soil.
There is such a life-giving energy that is just in the earth, that is abundantly all around us, that just feeds life to people.